YouTube, how's it going? Noah, uh, Noah Driscoll, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm here to talk about WrestleMania 37, Night 1. So, what a night. What a night. I was able to go to a buddy's house and we sat and enjoyed some pizza and talked and watched wrestling. It was really good to actually watch wrestling with somebody this year. WrestleMania, I should say. It was good to watch WrestleMania this year with somebody. Night 2 is tonight. Um, but Night 1 was pretty good. Some of the matches that I said I didn't care for, I ended up coming away going, well, that match wasn't actually that bad. It was actually better than I thought it would be. So, without taking up any more time, let's start the show. So, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, my bad. I'm not the best at this whole thing, but we'll get there eventually. So, to start, Vince McMahon opens up the show, and we are greeted by him, and he welcomes the fans to WrestleMania, and it was really cool. The wrestlers were obviously emotional. Rhea Ripley was crying. I'm sure other people were crying as well, and I'm sure the guys and gals that wasn't crying, probably all the emotions were just running really high. So I kind of that's just I know if I was in that position and I went so long without having a crowd to perform in front of after I have like performed in front of a crowd for so long and got so used to having that crowd to just add more, give me more energy, more adrenaline, and then to have that took away from me and then to have it back, you know, I mean my emotions would be like really high too. So, but WrestleMania, the event itself, um, I'm glad there were fans there, and I'm really happy for the wrestlers that get to have the fans there with them. And so, but the event starts and we have to be delayed because of the weather down in Tampa was storming, raining, and for the most part, it looked like it stayed pretty clear for the remainder of the time. It just WWE has like, we have this weather going on right now, and we're gonna have to stall it. We're gonna have to wait a little while. So we had to wait until we had to wait for a good 30 minutes. But they were impromptu interviews. Uh, they were well, not really shooting interviews, but they were unscripted interviews because, well, at that point, you have to interview your wrestlers to see just to stall time, just to, until the event can actually start. So, but that within itself was pretty nice to hear, unscripted promos, and we had to wait 30 minutes almost, but you know what? It was well worth it, man. So without, uh, let's get into the show itself. So Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. This match wasn't bad at all. Uh, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley put on a pretty good match. McIntyre helped uh, bring Bobby Lashley to, and they were able to have a good match. And I thought for sure Drew McIntyre was coming away with the win here, but they gave it to Bobby Lashley instead. I can't really be mad at that. Josh, my friend, likes to say that um, he likes to look at things as from the perspective of, well, who do they have to feud with if they stay champion? And then, you know, Drew McIntyre, he doesn't really have much of anybody to really go up against. Bobby Lashley, I thought for sure he would have lost, but he retained. And I think Vince McMahon has something planned with Bobby Lashley, perhaps at SummerSlam, maybe Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, or something. But it's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of continues on. McIntyre lost by the Hurt Lock. He didn't tap out, he passed out, but Bob Lashley ends up putting the Hurt Lock on Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre passes out, so Bobby Lashley wins the match. Again, it wasn't half bad. I enjoyed the match, and so like I said, Lashley retained, and it's just going to be interesting to see where this goes. And then we had the tag team turmoil, and this match, there were a lot of botches, but I mean, like, I wanted the Riot Squad to win, and me and my friend Josh were like, we were really hoping that Riot Squad would win, because they deserve it, they really do. They have been through a lot, and it would just be nice to kind of see them win, but they didn't. Natalia and Tamina won. I thought for sure that the Riot Squad would win, but then Natalia and Tamina end up winning. So then tonight they are set to face Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, which I don't know what my thoughts are on this really, other than I guess just kind of it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, if they take the titles off of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler goes to, they go to, they put Shayna Baszler as a singles competitor, and her and Nia Jax break up. That's what I would like to see happen. Excuse me. That's what I would like to see happen, but who knows? But this match, hmm, not much to really talk about with it, but this next match that happened, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I said it in my post video before this video. I talked about how Seth Rollins and Cesaro, they were gonna put on a clinic, and they did. They really did. No surprise to me, because Cesaro, he can go in the ring. Seth Rollins, he can definitely go in that ring. And in fact, Seth Rollins pulled out a corkscrew splash. It was pretty dope to see. But him and Cesaro, they brought it, man. They put on a really good technical match, and I'm so glad Cesaro won. I really am. I hope they do something with him now, because I mean, the fans love Cesaro. Cesaro has gotten this far because of the fans, because the fans see all the potential that Cesaro has, and the fans notice, the work Cesaro puts in, and so Cesaro has gotten this far as the fan, the fans have brought Cesaro to this point, because without the fans, who knows? Cesaro could still be doing what Cesaro does, but he may not be getting the uh, notice. He may not be getting noticed as much if the fans weren't like, well, always talking about Cesaro, put Cesaro, and all these hashtags. The Cesaro section. I remember when that was such a huge thing. So Cesaro, he's been one of the fans' favorites for a very long time, and because of that, you know what they could do that would make Cesaro like, I know Cesaro is a babyface right now, and he's got all the love and support of the fans. But you know what you do with that? Now that you have all that, you turn him heel. All right. If you want to do that, you can do that because then he goes from being loved and everything, and it kind of writes itself in a way. You know, Cesaro could come out one night, he could be like, uh, he could be being a face, you know, giving a face promo, and then out of nowhere here he's like, but I didn't get this far because of you people. I got this far because of the work that I've put in. And I don't need you guys or want you guys to feel like you got me to where I'm at today. Just because of me, I got where I'm at today. And that would make him a major heel. And the whole suit, you know, and he could be it. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. If that's what they decide to do, then I'm all in. I do love Cesaro right now as a face, so if they want to keep that going, great. But I think eventually you have to make that switch and perhaps do it sooner rather than later. But this match was pretty good, really good. I'm glad Cesaro won, and I just hope something comes out of it. Then for the next match, we had AJ Styles and Omos versus New Day. Now, when this match started, the New Day was just beating up on AJ Styles. Even though my buddy Josh, he enjoyed it pretty well. Me, honestly, not so much. You know, I hated it because I really like AJ Styles, and it's like, dang it, New Day, why you got to be doing this? You know, so I was getting pretty ripped at them for beating up on AJ Styles for so long, and they were keeping away from Omos, and probably because, well, Omos can't really wrestle all that good. He's just a big guy, and he can do enough, you know. So that's probably why they didn't keep him in. But it's pretty cool to see how Omos and AJ Styles came into the match as the heels, but then throughout the match, because AJ Styles was getting beat up on for so long, the fans really wanted to see Omos get in, just like that. They were able to switch roles. You know, the New Day kind of became heels, and then AJ Styles and Omos ends up becoming baby faces. It's going to be interesting to see if they continue to be faces or if they continue to be heels. So I look forward to Monday Night Raw to see what happens with that. But I'm really happy for AJ Styles. He's a Grand Slam champion. Um, AJ Styles has been one of my favorites since the time I started watching wrestling. I remember watching him in TNA. That man can wrestle. He really can. And I'm glad he came to WWE so I can continue to watch him and continue to follow him. So I'm really glad that he signed with WWE when he did. I remember when he debuted, I was so hyped, and he's done so much while he's been in WWE. He's a Grand Slam champion in both companies, I believe now, in TNA and in WWE. So I'm just saying, AJ Styles, he's got to be up there with the greats. He really does. So it's going to be interesting to see what AJ Styles and Moss does from here on out. I say they probably haven't rematched with the New Day. I'm not sure if the New Day will end up playing the heels or if AJ Styles or Omos will, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And then we had Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Brains versus Braun. This match, honestly, I didn't care leading up to the match, but the match itself is pretty good. I figured this was what was going to happen, that Shane McMahon would try to outsmart Braun and try to just keep escaping just keep trying to stay away and dodge Braun Strowman, and that's kind of what he did in this match. But it was kind of like a hardcore steel cage match because there were, at one point, Shane McMahon hit Braun Strowman with a toolbox. With a toolbox. So it was kind of like a there were just weapons involved, and I understand why, because, well, to be honest, Braun Strowman isn't the best wrestler. Neither is Shane McMahon. Other than, I think, him and AJ Styles, like, their entire match was based off of, I can beat you because I can wrestle and you can't, or something like that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what their whole match was about. And they did, Shane McMahon did pretty well for himself, but in this match, it was pretty good. I would definitely, I would recommend checking it out. But towards the end of the match, Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon are on top of the steel cage, and Braun Strowman ends up tossing Shane McMahon off, and that was Shane McMahon's kind of big moment, big leap, because he's been doing that in WrestleMania. He usually jumps off of something or another, and so that was this year. He took that throw from Braun Strowman, and he done that flip off the top of the steel cage. So match itself wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I was able to sit through it without, wanting to turn it off. So kudos to them. And then we had Bad Bunny, Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Now this match, Bad Bunny done pretty well for himself. He stayed in for the most part of the match, and then when he gave Damian Priest a hot tag, Damian Priest kind of came in and started to clean house. Um, before the match though, uh, Bad Bunny came out on like a semi truck, and he had a pretty cool like entrance, and he was he he felt like a big deal, And then when he got in the ring, he he done well. He handled his own, and I think it was pretty smart to have Bad Bunny and the Miz kind of go at it with each other, because I think, I don't know, I feel like the Miz does a better job at kind of like selling things. I think he was able to help Bad Bunny better than John Morrison probably would have or could have. But Bad Bunny done pretty well. And then Damian Priest came in with, like I said, with a hot tag, and he started cleaning the house. And I love Damian Priest, I really do. His character is pretty cool. His wrestling, he can wrestle pretty good, and I'm just a big fan of Damian Priest. Hopefully, he'll turn heel at some point. But in this match, he was pretty good, and so Bad Bunny ended up pinning the Miz, like I figured he would. And then, the match wasn't bad at all. So I came away rather happy, about the match. And then the main event, we had Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. This match, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. Not that it was, not at the fact that, not at the match itself, but who won the match. That's what I'm surprised. I figured it would be a good match. I figured Bianca Belair would be the, kind of more physical, big body wrestler, throwing Sasha Banks around and using her. power to kind of woman handle Sasha Banks, and that's what she did for the most part. But I just want to say this real quick. I am surprised, very surprised that Bianca Belair, like, well, I shouldn't say surprised. Well, I am surprised, but I'm also proud that she is from Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee. It's like 30 to an hour away from where I live at. So to hear that, to hear and from Knoxville, Tennessee, I looked at my friend Josh and I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yes, you went to Austin P or Vanderbilt, I think, or something like that." I was like, "Wow, that's really, really cool." Never would I have thought that, to hear the words Knoxville, Tennessee. But that is that's super cool. And hey, Knoxville knows how to breed athletes. I'm just saying. Peyton Manning, uh, the Mannings, I'm pretty sure. Then Bianca Belair, and I think there's more as well. But Knoxville does pretty good for themselves. Just not in basketball or football, sadly, but hopefully our football program will be a little better this season. But all right, I'm getting off topic. But the match itself wasn't bad, and Bianca Belair does end up winning the match. I'm not mad about that. Hopefully, she'll turn heel. Like I'm talking about. So I said I hope that Cesaro turns heel. Then I said I hope Damian Priest turns heel. Now I'm saying I hope Bianca Belair turns heel. So I want everybody to turn heel. Nah. But I do think Bianca Belair would do pretty well as a heel. And but I do expect them to kind of keep her as a face for a little while. So congratulations to Bianca Belair. One thing that I kind of took an issue with, I mean, that wasn't so much of an issue as much of as a like, why does it have to be about this? But Michael Cole is like, this is the first time that two female black wrestlers have main evented WrestleMania or something. And it's like, well, why does the race matter? Like, can't you just say that, like, this is, I'm just saying, like, I don't like using the race card for everything. So, but I'm happy for them both. And like my buddy Josh is saying, this just goes to show that if the right women are involved, you can have women main event WrestleMania, but you gotta do it right, and the right women have to be in there to make it believable, to make it feel like a big deal. Because like for one, before the match even begun, Bianca Belair was crying, Sasha Banks was holding back her tears. So it felt like a big deal from the jump, and you really need to have that to make the main events feel like a big deal. So I wasn't mad at all that this match main evented, and I'm glad that it was as good as it was. So again, congratulations, Bianca Belair. Now that's it. That was night one, and night one, like I said, wasn't bad at all. I came away from the matches like rather happy. There were matches that I didn't really care about uh leading up to last night that while watching the matches it was like, well, they done better than I thought they would. Um so yeah, that's my recap for night one. Night two is tonight. I have church tonight, and then I should be home around like 7:30, and I think WrestleMania night two starts at 8, so I'll probably watch that. And then I'll probably release the video talking about that tomorrow, I'd imagine. But eh, that's night one. And one last thing. I know I talked about it before the video began, but I'm just so happy for the wrestlers to finally have the fans back, to finally get that back after it being took away from you, that's so awesome, and I'm happy for him. I really am. And I hope that night two, the wrestlers, and the fans. I hope the fans cheer really loud, because honestly, in night one, apart from some of the other, like the Cesaro and Seth Rollins match, that got a really big pop. That got "This is awesome" chant, and I don't know if it's because they were having to wear masks, or I believe I believe that probably had a large part to do with it, honestly. But there were they were cheering, and so I'm just saying that I hope night two the fans are a little more loud, and I just really hope that the wrestlers performing tonight really enjoy having the fans back as much as the wrestlers in night one did. I'm sure they will, and I'm looking really forward to what tonight has in store. I would make a I would make a prediction video, but to be honest, that would make two videos in one day, and I'm just not really feeling it. So I will talk about the matches themselves tomorrow, and then I'll give my thoughts before I start talking about them. But hey, that was night one, and I look forward to seeing what happens tonight. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you watch tonight. So have a good one.